And in the last 10 or 15 parts that we've been doing, we've been focusing on the loving each other part. And all the internal changes and growth and things that we need inside in order to be able to do all that. And that's really what's the hard part, is that the things are mechanically and intellectually not that complicated. They're just hard to actually functionally perform because of internal struggles. And hopefully we're understanding that. Because I know sometimes people are like, well, I don't know why he's talking about all this stuff. Well, that's because you're not really listening. If you were listening, you'd understand why. Because you'd know that this is the hard part. This is why you struggle to love each other. This is why you struggle to love him. I think even more so why you struggle to love each other, though. Because we tend to be less likely to take offense from him because there's at least a part of you that recognizes who he is. But you don't understand how to treat each other. Shrink from what is wicked, cling to what is good. And remember the definitions of wicked and good. Okay, good is all things being used and functioning and being what he intended them to be. Wicked is all things not being used, functioning, and being what he intended them to be. Simple. Not a complex definition. All right? When you are, and we've seen people try to do this, taking something that's not meant to be a screwdriver and use it for a screwdriver, it doesn't always go well, for example, okay? Something might break or something might get hurt. See, that's the kind of thing is, when you take the butter knife and think it's a screwdriver. Now, you could get away with it, and that's the other thing about wicked things. You can do them, and it works. That doesn't make it right. Because it's not the way it was intended to be done, okay? And so we're looking for the fullness of his intent in all things. And part of what he's talking about here, actually the main focus in verse 1 is how he intended you, me, to be. He intended us to be reasonable in our worship by sacrificing us and being set apart to do things his way. The same thing comes then to appreciation. You may have a less than perfect marriage. You may have a less than perfect living situation. You may have a less than perfect job. But you know what? There are people out there that don't have a job or don't have a marriage or don't have a house or whatever it is that you're not appreciating. Because all you want to focus on is the fact that what you have isn't what you want. Instead of figuring out what you can appreciate. And then you make the even bigger mistake. You compare your situation to the piece of somebody else's situation that's what you want that you don't have. Even though they've got other things that you don't want, but you have. I've told people about marriage when I've counseled the people for the premarital counseling. I said, the only way this is going to work is if you recognize that it only works if you both lose. And what I mean by that is, if you've got to win, that means the other one has to lose. And then it can't work because both of you are trying to win. But if you recognize that if you both are willing to lose here or lose there so the other person can have, and it says here to do this, it says giving preference to each other. What is preference? It means allowing them to have the choice or the preference over what you might want. Putting preference on them and not you. I know this is going to be hard for some of you, not all of you. Some of you have been listening to me long enough, this will be easy. We are not of a belief that somehow everybody in their condition right now is ready for this. Okay? This is the position, though, of groups around that are Messianic or Hebrew, that somehow it's a kumbaya, everybody come and it's all great and we're all ready and we'll just make allowances for everybody and we'll make it palatable to everybody and everything's okay and can go and everything can be fine. Yahweh doesn't say any of that. He says, this is what it is, you're going to go do it, and those who want to be a part of that will attach themselves to you when they're ready to do so. But this is not, that sort of coddling, enabling, entitling thing. But ardent in spirit. What does ardent in spirit mean? It's not, don't go to the charismatic, Pentecostal, whatever. Ardent in spirit. It means that you have an ardent, a fervor, a passion for what the fullness of his intent is. Spirit, above, heavenly, you're ardent in the above, in the heavenlies, in the things that came from there to you to help you become what they are. You need to be ardent or passionate about that. We're not talking about some emotional, feeling-based spirit thing or whatever it is, okay? You're going to get excited, have passion and ardor for things of above. And he says, look, while your expectancy is going to cause rejoicing, there's going to be life happening at the same time. So the next part of the verse says, endure under pressure. Because there is a lot of pressure to totally refocus your expectancy onto the wrong things. There's a lot of pressure to quit. There's a lot of pressure to do things you shouldn't do. There's a lot of pressure to give into the influences, the negative influences, especially of other people. And so he says, endure. We have that teaching, endure and receive the crown of life. Endure under pressure. And if you can have the right expectancy, look at the order of this. If I didn't have the right expectancy, how would I possibly endure the pressure? And I think you guys want help way too quickly. You know, I almost feel like my counseling for the first time you contact me about something is figure it out. And if you can't, then come back. But I feel like really that I'm not saying that enough. You guys want me to fix it, give you the formula, give you the life hack, give you the thing that's going to help you with whatever it is in your life coaching that you need, whatever, instead of telling you, go figure it out. The incredible growth you get when you do that, that's being derailed by somebody figuring it out for you, is tremendous. There's a tremendous amount of growth you are missing out on when somebody else does it for you. And some of you have children that can't function because you're doing everything for them. And you coddle them and you enable them. Instead of saying, go figure it out. Don't be all proud, but go along with the lowly. Maybe they're not able to do it on the level you're doing it. But you're looking down at them. You're judging them. There's a pride problem there. You're not them. Where did you get to be the one with the measuring stick to judge how high or how low they've fallen short or how much they've accomplished? You don't have their journey. You don't have their life. You got a big old plank you could be dealing with while you're looking at their twig. And actually, they've got a plank too, but it's just a perspective thing, right? But you see their plank, and that's what you're concerned with. And you're comparing an area where you happen to maybe be better than them at it. But what about the areas where they're better than you? Or maybe not them, somebody else is better than you. Any chance that when Yeshua shows up, he's going to put everything the way it needs to be, and there's going to be at least something where you go, what? No, that's not, at least something. Well, if that's the case, why are we so hard on each other? You walk out your own salvation with integrity. Don't worry about everybody else's walking it out. You worry too much about what everybody else is doing. We are so nosy, such busybodies, and then we wonder how the body is all discombobulated like it is. You can't get to where we need to be in that emotional, dysfunctional place. Being so nosy and busybody and inserting ourselves where we don't belong, et cetera, et cetera. And this happens every day, all the time in the body. And it comes from these things we're reading about here.